Good afternoon from paradise. I'm Crypto Amaru. That is Crypto Hitman. We are back with another project interview. We're actually back with our old friend Jeff, the founder of Taunt Network. He came on Crypto Paradise a month or two ago, gave us a nice overview of the project. We told him we would have him back, and here he is to talk about the $1 million Taunt Airdrop. Yes, you heard that right, guys. $1 million worth of tokens is up for grabs if you get involved with this airdrop. So before we dive into that, Jeff, just remind us, what's Taunt Network all about real quick, and what's been the latest with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me again, guys. Appreciate you guys doing that, and it's good to see you guys again. So in essence, like what we kind of talked about last time, our vision for the Taunt Network is to really change the way interactive entertainment kind of happens, both for developers and then ultimately like end users and consumers and gamers. Um, we started as our own studio, as our own studio. A lot of our team comes from the AAA gaming world, so we have experience from Amazon, EA, Microsoft, etc. Unity in our on our team, and for us, we started with this thesis of if what would happen if game developers could actually start to think about ways to monetize their game through streaming and wagering during the game design phase rather than kind of tacking it on after, right? And so if you think about how both of those kind of revenue streams kind of happen within a game's life cycle. It's always after the game's actually created. It's always an afterthought. So if you think about it, a game gets really hot, people start streaming it. Great, this whole ecosystem gets made through streamers and things like that on it. Those streamers it's very hard for them to make money unless you're at the very top 1% of 1%. Everybody else is just making content for fun, building that community, but there's no sustainable ecosystem in there. The developer owns all the IP, so it's really hard for third parties to make money. All of that's kind of happening. And then on the wagering side as well, games have popped up kind of recently, but in general, what ends up happening is they follow a very, very traditional sports model where it's like if there's not esports, for example, type tournaments going on, there are no wagering opportunities, which we believe is a very, very underserved type market in general, because the greatest thing about video games and the strategic advantage from that perspective is it can run 24/7. You never have to turn it off. So like if you start to think about that, like there's always got to be a basketball, football game going, all those other things. And games, you can easily make that happen if that's kind of set up. But if you take two steps back to the game development side, it's very, very difficult to think like that. And there's not really any tools to do that, distribution platforms to kind of execute on the vision. So at the Taunt Network, we're trying to wrap all of that up to really make a game developer start thinking about these really alternative monetization streams kind of downstream without having to invest a ton of resources into that. And they can do what they do best, which is make fun games for people and whatever kind of business model that is.
Yeah, very cool. Sounds to me like you're sort of tackling both sides of that equation with the gamers and the developers. It's a real problem that you
Yeah.
described. Everyone wants to monetize
Yep.
what they're doing, whatever their activity is. It's not necessarily easy, but that's why blockchain is such a revolutionary sort of core
Oh,
piece of technology. So you lay that over what it is you guys are building, and it has a lot of potential. So, all right.
absolutely.
Um, I don't want to bury the lead here because I think people want to hear about that $1 million.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
maybe, yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? When is that rule? How does that work? How do you can get involved? All the information.
Yeah, so we spent a ton of time. Our team actually went pencils down on actually building the game and really start to put their game design chops around how can they build a really cool airdrop program, right? That hits all of our check marks, but at the end of the day, really kind of unites people under, kind of the Taunt banner and gets everybody kind of talking about it in general and really thinking about our vision around it, right? And so I think we created this really cool kind of setup where, in general, there's lots of engagement opportunity. There's obviously lots of the sharing hooks, but you're really getting rewarded in a way that actually rewards the people who are playing the game the best, playing our games the most, and our ecosystem the most. But then also learning about the games in our world, our battle world game, which is really our proof of concept game for the Taunt Network itself. And getting that information out of the airdrop that they can use later down the road to help, be successful in our game and potentially our partners' games as well.
Yeah, so I think the airdrop may have just started or is going to be starting soon. Do you want to like share your screen and kind of go
Yeah,
through the
absolutely.
airdrop portal and maybe people can really see how they can get involved and maybe that'll entice some people to sign
Yeah,
up?
yeah, absolutely. So let me just do that right now. So in general, if you go to our site, playtaunt.io or the taunt token.io sites, it'll direct you to kind of the airdrop page. And where it kind of starts is basically with this idea of kind of soul-bound tokens. So if you've seen this kind of being done in other projects, it's actually really, really ingenious. Whoever came up with this idea is, I don't know who that is, but it wasn't us, but it's super smart. But in essence, what it does is basically for whatever airdrop task you're doing, it's going to award you a token that's actually it's a soul bound token, so it's tied to the wallet. So you can't move it, you can't trade it, you can't do anything with it. But the cool thing about that is that at that point, it really helps alleviate the bot issue, right? So across the board, right? We really wanted to think through, okay, how can we make sure that the real engagement and real people get the most rewards, and our community gets the most rewards out of the airdrop, because like in anything else, there is significant upside in this. It's all free. We don't make anybody pay anything to do the actual airdrop across the board. So like everybody literally doesn't have to put a dime in, and they can earn significant rewards, and everybody's on that standing, right? You don't even have to. No one gets an advantage for paying any money, in this whole process, which is actually a big thing for us. But in general, you actually enter very basic things to get your first soulbound token. So give us your email. That's really to help keep you apprised to how you can earn more things in the airdrop, what's going on with the game. Potentially, with the token launch that's also happening as well. You can get all that information, and then you just do the normal kind of social things like follow us, follow the game, follow Taunt, all this, watch a video, right? When you complete all those, you've now earned your first soulbound token, right? At that point. Once you've done that, it unlocks a bunch of other quests that you can now start doing that'll actually earn you engagement points for you on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And those tasks and things are all kind of similar to social referral pieces, but also more importantly, playing the games and then playing our mini games, which I'll talk a little bit more about here shortly. But by doing all the games and where you're placing on the leaderboards and things like that, you're earning these engagement points, which have significant value in terms of the actual airdrop, because you can trade those points in for taunt tokens at the end of the airdrop period. So it's again, it's super cool. We roll out new quests every single week. All of them are meant to be light, meant to be fun. And you're kind of doing that, kind of in real time as you're going on and learning about our ecosystem and in the world of Battle World.
That's really awesome. And what this does is gets a lot of gaming people who are crypto native involved, but also I already have a couple buddies who are still no coiners somehow, and I'm still trying to get them over the edge. I can share this URL, I'm sure, and maybe they need MetaMask so that way they can get the reward points
You know what?
and
You can
they can
actually,
play.
the great part of this, how we've constructed this as well, you actually don't even need MetaMask. So we have a system where you just give us your email, you'll get an invisible wallet behind that, and once you start getting your soulbound tokens and things like that, you'll be able to that wallet will actually be able to hold it. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to kind of participate in the airdrop and have fun with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we all have those friends who have way too many Steam games. So now they can play these
Yeah.
random games, see what they like, earn along the way. And then I'm assuming some of these games are ones that are going to have full live models that probably produce revenue for Taunt in the future. So if they like
Yeah.
some of these games that they're playing, then hopefully when the full versions are out there, they can
Yeah.
keep playing, which benefits token holders, Taunt Network, and of course their own airdrop value.
Yeah, absolutely. And our first game outside of Battle World that you can play to earn the tokens is called Board of Directors Battle World Escape. So we actually partnered with a group called the Board of Directors, which is a group of 15 board apes. And so basically how the game works is very similar to Mario, but it uses Bored Ape IP. We did an IP integration deal. We actually have an AMA coming out tomorrow around it. It's super cool on how we got this deal done. We do think it's kind of revolutionary in terms of how Web3 IP is being used, now, and it's going to be a playbook that's going to be used kind of in the future. But the game itself, the cool thing about that is, we get access into the BASE community. We're going to bring them into the airdrop as part of this. The game's super fun. And then on top of that, it gets to extend the lore of Battle World. So, the storyline here is basically the Bored Apes gets dropped in Battle World and you're trying to get out of it, right? They're trying to get back to the other side. So it's a really cool deal extension of what we're doing in Battle World. And then, as kind of time goes on, we have a couple more IP integrations we haven't announced yet into our mini games that again will hopefully bring those communities into the airdrop and merge them with our communities and then ultimately into a successful token launch down the road.
Yeah, what I like about this, well, it's a couple things. First of all, it looks great. It's beautiful, clean, very sort of step by step, just clear, easy to understand, newbie friendly, like you guys are saying.
Yeah.
The other thing I like about it is very specific. Like, what you have to do to earn these points, to earn the soulbound tokens, to go through the quest.
Yep.
A lot of airdrops are a little bit vague and ambiguous. And I think that sometimes gets projects into trouble because
Right.
what can happen is people do all these things. I thought I was doing the right thing. And it's like, and then they get mad and they start fudding.
Right.
And you guys have sort of got out in front of that and said, well, no, dude, here are the steps, super clear, super transparent. You had to have done this, this, and this. It's all written down, very clear, very detailed. So you avoid that potential for FUD, and it's very clear what the people need to do. I think that's going to be a breath of fresh air in the airdrop world, which I think had been plagued with kind of like, use our D app, and then like maybe you'll get, you know what I mean? Which is, I think,
yeah, absolutely. And again, we I've done a ton of airdrops in my time, and so has a bunch of our team members. So what we really try to do is like build something that we know that based off of our experience that we know would be great. I think you guys have also seen our Git book, right? Our deep dive detail on how the airdrop works. We try to be as detailed as possible, in there and make sure that everybody who wants those level of details, they can get them. But then like you said, on the flip side, we wanted this thing to be very, very clear and easy for people who just want to do the topical level stuff. They don't want to spend 4 hours a day, maybe grinding the airdrop, and they just want to come in and get their daily points every single day and share this with some friends because they know they're going to get some points to do that. But we can service both of those groups of people because generally speaking, the crypto natives are polarized to that, right? They either want to do something very short and they're doing a million other things, so they just want to drop in and they see the value in the project, and it's one way for them to stay connected with the project, but also they don't want to spend 3 hours doing this. And then we have the gaming side that maybe that's all they want to do all day, right? They want to know every single detail. So we have an experience for both of those guys that we think is meaningful and will be valuable to them.
Yeah, that's great that you thought about both sides of that. One other side that I wanted to touch on real quick. So, as an investor, see, I'm an investor more so than an airdrop type guy. I'm always, you sometimes hear airdrop and you think, oh, geez, like, am I going to get dumped on by these guys? It sounds like your system is built in such a way that in order to earn the full, your share of the full $1 million, you're going to have to really support the project over the long haul and bring meaningful value to the project rather than just, hey, 5 minutes, I'm in, I'm out, get my tokens, dump them. So tell me a little bit about that, sort of how that process works and how you're trying to capture people over the long haul.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, like I think for us, when we started to think about this, I think most everybody who comes in through the ecosystem, we wanted to align everybody, right? So we wanted to say, hey, if you do, and I think right now, for example, the refer friend section really is 20% of the airdrop. So the leaderboard of that is literally 20% of the airdrop. In hard dollars, that would be $200,000 we're giving away for that portion of the airdrop. But in general, the ecosystem and everybody participating in the airdrop is actually benefiting from that, right? Whether you're in here to sell the tokens or have because you're having fun in the game and you're earning tokens, everybody's going to benefit for that. But but that's why we put that as such a big chunk of the airdrop allocation. But then when you start to think about, okay, well, how can we make sure, like you said, like everybody who's earning these tokens, just don't, dump them on day one, and then actually building this vibrant ecosystem, and getting everybody a win or a W in all of this is actually becomes very, very difficult. Well, that's why we do have this idea of like engagement points and being able to flip those points into the tokens and things like that. Because then what we can do is make sure that we properly value all of these actions within the airdrop with engagement points in general, and making sure that we can reward people who are doing the activities that benefit us in the long term, get more engagement points, and then thus access to more Taunt tokens down the road. We can value that properly. The other piece to this is we look at it, and we'll have a really cool actually infographic coming out today around how the airdrop works. So it's super visually will be super easy to understand. This phase of the airdrop we call the earning phase. The next phase is actually called the farming phase. So during that time, and again, if you take your engagement points and you for lack of a better term, lock those up in the game, that will actually get you access into more value on Taunt tokens as well later down the road in general. So we've kind of structured it in a way again that we know that crypto moves really, really fast. So it's not going to be a 3-year time frame or 2-year time frame, or in some cases even a year and a half time frame. But we also know that a lot of people, we've gotten some really good velocity already in terms of people participating in the airdrop or putting some significant time and effort into this, and we want those results for them to be really good as well. So I think we've found a way to get the best of both worlds there.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about that too. So, you have the points, but in order to redeem them for 100% of that value in Taunt tokens, you need to get in a locked staking contract, if you will, for those who are Web3 people. So like, hey, if I'm locking this up for 90 days, then you'll actually get the full value of the Taunt tokens back.
Yeah.
If you want to just take the tokens, cheat it, you need to fill up your gas tank or something, great, you can do that right now, but you're only going to get 10% of that value.
Yeah.
So each individual can kind of determine what effort they put in, what they want to value that time at, and when they want to get those tokens. Do they need them right now because they want to sell them for $10, or do they want to lock them up for 90 days and then you're getting, $200? That's really up to the individual.
Absolutely. And then you were also looking at, and which we'll announce, in a couple of weeks and things like that, some of the benefits of locking up the engagement points and things like that later. It's going to get you access to exclusive tournaments, free tournaments, NFT, special NFTs, things like that. So there's lots of other benefits during the farming phase as to why you want to keep those engagement points within the ecosystem itself in general. And so again, everything's gamified. Like I said, we put a lot of time and effort into making sure that this is like super cool, and there's like value across the board for whatever type of person you are within Web3 in crypto. And we're hoping that anybody can find their path, and whatever it's EV for them, right? They find that, and and they have a good time with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the effort and the quality and everything went into this, and this is not even your core product,
yeah,
makes me very bullish on you guys seeing everything that you built here. So, all right, I want to leave it at that actually for now because I do need to jump. But any final thoughts here about airdrop? Maybe we can talk a little bit about the token launch. I know you talked to maybe about September, October. We'll see when that happens. It's going to be market dependent. But any final thoughts on the airdrop or anything else? And then, of course, we'll be doing more content about you guys very shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. I would just say the last thing I would say is like, to everybody, just give it a whirl, right? Like, it's super easy to get into. Anybody can do it. I think it's, like I said, it's a great way to stay connected with the project, with all the really cool things that are happening without a ton of lift. And then on top of it, I think everybody's going to be really, really hyped around the partners we haven't announced yet around it. And especially with the marketing partners that we have, and then the IP partners we have, in theory it should be one of the larger gaming launches of this year.
Yeah, I think really
line it up like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say really exciting times ahead. I think this is one of the few airdrops that I think I want to actually participate in. Obviously, if you follow us on Crypto Paradise or Learn Crypto, you've seen we've done airdrops for that's like, hey, hold Solana and stake it, or hold Atom and stake it, and you get this airdrop of this new token. But a lot of the other ones are so vague and opaque that you really don't want to participate because it's like, I need to interact with a million wallets and do this and do that, and then maybe I get $1 or maybe I get $1,000. You don't really know. With this one, it seems like, hey, straightforward, concise, to the point. You watch a video, you get educated, or we play a game, we have a little bit of fun, and we earn those points, which are going to turn into Taunt tokens, going to turn into NFTs, and a lot of other exciting things in the future. So this is an airdrop that I think I'll be participating in myself, and I think everybody watching this video, take the few minutes a day, participate, and let's see where Taunt goes here in the upcoming month, 2 months, 3 months when the Taunt token launches.
Absolutely.
Love it. All right, Jeff, it was great to have you on. Everyone check out this airdrop app. It looks freaking awesome. And until then, guys, we'll see you on the beach.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.